this is changing the warfare right now at a strategic level in Ukraine. Hey, what's up everyone? This is your host, constraint Liber. Let me tell you something real quick about Starlinks on drones here in Ukraine. Mass scale. Ukraine figured this out and it's working quite well. So here is the deal. Traditional drone data links, you're like a standard radio control, Silvus, Doodle Labs, DTC, whatever, they max out at maybe like 40 kilometers, 50, a couple of hundred tops, depending on the terrain and how hard the enemy is trying to jam you. That ceiling exists because you're fighting over radio frequencies. Here we are operating in an extremely radio-saturated environment. So Russia has entire units dedicated to electronic warfare and dedicated to cutting that link and dropping your drone. And actually this is the key part of their military doctrine. Starlink removes that ceiling completely. You are now limited by just how long your battery lasts and how far your drone can physically fly, not by your communication range. That is fundamentally a different problem, and it's a much better problem to have, if I'm being really honest. Ukraine has this first unmanned systems center, and they are using that quite well, I would say. Service of Security of Ukraine, SBU, is using that too, both for the long-range strike drones and for kamikaze drones, obviously for bombers. It works all across Ukraine, consistent connectivity, no dead zones more or less, and it holds under jamming conditions that would kill a regular data link. Wide scale, very successful, very cheap, I would say. It costs in like a couple $100 US. And now there is a company that makes plug-and-play kind of a Starlink module specifically built for that drone integration. So you just plug it into your drone, that's it. You don't need an engineer to like make a custom solution from scratch or anything like this. You mount the module, configure it, done. Your drone now has a satellite connectivity. That's how fast this is scaling. It went from like experimental workaround to now off-the-shelf product kind of a thing. Now let me explain why this matters strategically. Ukraine is running a deep strike campaign right now, hitting targets deep inside the Ukrainian occupied territory. You have the videos everywhere, like you have seen the black smoke, all of the logistics hub of Russian forces in like Donetsk, Mariupol, everything that Russia has occupied. But to reach really juicy targets, you first need to blow through Russia's air defense network. And that network is layered, it's deep, it's designed specifically to stop you, but we are doing this right now. So there is an active campaign going on. Radars as their eyes, command systems as their brains, and missile batteries as their fists, you know, like S-300, S-400 at long range, Buk, Thor, Gauntlet, I think it's the NATO name. In theory, it's a continuous umbrella that helps them defend their airspace. But what Ukraine is doing is that we are pushing like hundreds of those drones and dismantling them piece by piece and making that kind of a corridor. Right now, Kyiv Independent just published a very detailed analysis on this over almost like 500 documented strikes on air defense infrastructure between June 2025 and early March 2026. That is not random. That's a systematic kind of approach to destroying everything that Russians have and the territories that they have occupied in Ukraine. So then we could push them away from our home forever. Quite interesting quotes from one of the Ukrainian commanders in charge of those operations. You just knock out the radars first, then suppress the short-range crews, and then you take out Thors, Buks, and everything like that. All of the larger layers behind them, and only then you do have a corridor. Starlink is actually what makes running that corridor reliably possible. You're flying hundreds of drones through contested airspace deep into the enemy territory, so you need that data link to hold. With traditional radio, maybe it holds, maybe it doesn't, but with Starlink it really does, and that is something that is quite successful. And Russia, honestly, they just don't have a clean answer to it right now. You can jam radio frequencies, right? But jamming the satellite communication at scale is a completely different technical challenge. They're working on it, but Ukraine is moving so much faster with our measures. This is what modern warfare actually looks like, and this is a very interesting operation to follow. Hopefully I'll be able to make a next video, maybe during the summer, on that campaign specifically, to delete all of the Russian stupid air defense pieces, so we could ram more of our drones straight into Donetsk, Mariupol, all of the occupied cities that they hold. Alright, full Kyiv Independent article, I'll put that in the description. It's a nice read. Leave a comment, random comment, 13 words in it. If you like the video, share it with your friends and colleagues. You can reach me out on email, dimko@zigspo.com. And that was a pleasure talking to you all. I have to run. That was Liber. Freedom to you all, and stay frosty.